4 p.m., headquarters provided one. Uthlout was ordered to split his platoon into two elements. Half his unit was directed to immediately begin towing the damaged Humvee toward the only paved road in all of Khost, which lay on the far side of a high massif. Concurrently, the other half of the platoon was supposed to proceed to a village called Mana, situated 4 roadless miles from Maghara in the opposite direction, to complete the day's mission. Search every building in the settlement for caches of enemy weapons. Word came down the chain of command, moreover, that this vehicle problem better not delay us any more. The platoon leader was admonished to quit wasting time and put boots on the ground in Mana before nightfall. Khost province was the home turf of Jalaluddin Haqqani, a short, scrawny man with Coke bottle eyeglasses and a beard like black steel wool that hung to his belly. Although his physical stature was unimpressive, he was legendary throughout Afghanistan for his bravery and military acumen. Commander of Taliban forces in much of the country's eastern region, Haqqani was one of Osama bin Laden's most trusted associates. The enemy fighters the Rangers had been hunting were part of the so-called Haqqani network, a loose amalgam of Taliban militias and tribal insurgents. Mana was the last village in the area that the Rangers needed to search for Haqqani's forces, and headquarters was adamant that they clear it at the earliest possible opportunity in order to conform to a schedule established weeks earlier by desk-bound officers at a distant base. Uthlout and his men were no less eager than headquarters to finish their business in Mana, because as soon as it was completed, they could return to forward operating base Salerno, where they'd be able to shower off the stink and grime, repair their battered vehicles, re-zero their weapons, and spend a night or two on honest-to-God cots before heading back outside the wire. But the Rangers on the ground weren't keen to take unnecessary risks simply to meet an arbitrary bureaucratic timeline set by fobbits. Officers who seldom ventured beyond the security of the forward operating base, the FOB in military speak, and therefore, from the grunt's perspective, had no clue what it was actually like to fight a war in this unforgiving country. Uthlout sent a series of emails that respectfully but vigorously registered objections to the orders he'd received. The 24-year-old platoon leader pointed out, among other shortcomings, that the mountainous topography would make communication between the divided elements problematic, and that embarking from Mana with just half a platoon, in his view, was not safe. One of the most highly regarded young officers in the Army, Uthlout had graduated at the top of his class at West Point as first captain of the Corps of Cadets. When George W. Bush was sworn in as president in 2001, Uthlout was the guy chosen to lead the Army's procession down Pennsylvania Avenue in the inaugural parade. After leaving the academy and becoming a platoon leader in the 2nd Ranger Battalion, he quickly earned the admiration of the enlisted men and non-commissioned officers who served under him. Uthlout was a disciplined soldier who seldom questioned orders, and never without a compelling reason. But his urgent requests to reconsider the directive to split the platoon elicited this brusque reply from headquarters: "Reconsider denied." Nobody on the ground in Maghara thought it was a good idea to split the platoon, recalls specialist Jade Lane, who as Uthlout's radio operator had been privy to the entire extended debate between headquarters and the platoon leader. The PL didn't want to do it, but in the Army you obey orders. If somebody with a higher rank tells you to do something, you do it. So Uthlout split the platoon. Less than an hour of daylight remained by the time Uthlout had finished dividing the platoon into two elements. After placing himself in charge of the element bound for Mana, designated Serial 1, it consisted of 2 Humvees and 4 Toyota pickup trucks carrying 20 Rangers and 7 Afghan militia forces. He hurriedly rolled out of Maghara in the lead Humvee at 6 p.m. Absent a road, Uthlout's convoy drove down an intermittently dry riverbed, followed closely by the 2nd element's convoy, designated Serial 2. A few minutes outside the village, they reached a